Peace, peaceful greetings all. Back on the feed. Back on the feed. Yeah. Let's get this all situated. Alrighty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peaceful greetings to all. I am the professor and prophet and founder of a new era of time. Let's see. We're going to go into did Noble Drew call Moorish Americans Americans? So I've already went over this once before, but I will go over it again. No problemo. We're going to see whether or not Noble Drew calls the Moorish Americans Moorish Americans. And even still, better still, does he call Moorish Americans Americans? Peaceful greetings all. Thank you for coming in. So I'm going to go over whether or not Moors are Americans as well as American citizens, or if, a prior individual on my last feed suggested, Moorish Americans are not American subjects, but rather Moroccan subjects. Let's see here. Black history for you. That's what we're talking. By all means, if you wish to speak, you can come on up. Invite yourself on up. Meet the professor. You know, I'm tangible, I'm reachable, I'm approachable, I'm peaceful. Excuse me. Are Moorish Americans Americans? Is the question. As if what I'd read prior to didn't already express that the Moorish Americans are, in fact, Americans. You know, and that all these other Moorish Americans saying that we're not Americans or acting as if we're the only Americans. I hope I did, man. Must have missed it. Should have beat it. Okay. So then it must be in the back. It must be in the back. Let's see here, because I know it's in here. I know it is in here. Yes. Okay, here we go. Glad that I found it. Encourage your viewers to share. Yes, please share the feed. Tap the screen. If you appreciate the content, if you don't have to tap the screen. It's not really even for all of that. This can be found later on the YouTube channel, American Nationals UNIV. All right, so we're going to discuss, according to the prophet or the presiding officer of the Moorish American nation here in America. All right. Did I do that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Nicknamed. All right, here we go. It says, when the forefathers of the Moorish Americans. So right there, for the Moorish Americans who believe that Moorish Americans aren't Moorish Americans, or that Noble Drew Ali didn't identify this particular Muslim North African group as Moorish Americans. We see in his literature that he says, when the forefathers of the Moorish Americans were first brought to this nation, they had a nationality and a name. But in order to separate them from the achievements of their fathers, a name was given to them which had no connection whatever with the founders of civilization. They were nicknamed Negroes. Today, in this nation, there are no such things as Negroes in this sense that they are called. Just why so many intelligent Americans will continue to cling to this name is hard to understand. And so now we see that the Moorish Americans, who were misidentified as Negroes, are also identified as Americans. Americans. You hear me? Let me see if I can send word to the people. Let me see. Okay, no. Okay, well, that's rather unfortunate. But it is what it is. No. All right. It continues. If you look in some dictionaries, you will see that the word Negro means a sly person, a coon. If this is not an insult to the illustrious history of a nation, there can never be one given. Just as they have saddled on the Moorish Americans the name Negro, they have also given him a religion that was made to enslave him and stop his progress. It is the duty of every man who lives to redeem the nation of his forefathers and not be herded into a mass of weaklings. Stop referring to yourself as Negro, colored, and black, for you are neither. If you are men, American citizens, speak up for yourselves, or it will never be done. Islam, beloved, Islam, Muslim. As long as you wear the clothes of another, or live in the house of another, or depend on another in any manner, you are truly a slave to them. If you would be free, indeed you must seek the truth. You must know the truth of your nationality and the name of your people. You must not be a coward and deny yourself the personal rights that belong to every man. So we find here that those who are so-called Negroes, right? Hold on, let me let me bust this quick move for you. Let me show you something. All right, the Negroes. So if you know any Spanish, any individuals know some Spanish, we know that the word Negro, all right, in Spanish is negro, and that the word negro in English applies. All right, so now we're going to see. Here we go. And let me turn my camera so that we can uh, see much better. Let me see. Please be patient with me. Let me see here. I wish to turn the camera up there. Up. There we go. I wish to turn the camera up there. Up. There we go. All right, that'll take me out the screen. Okay, so we see here on the ethnicity and race form. This ethnicity and race form is called the Standard Form 181. This is the commercial status of individuals nationally and internationally. Most of us are familiar with some of the information that's on this form here. Anytime you apply for a job, anytime you're being requested to reveal your race or your ethnicity, it is for commercial classification purposes. That's what it is for. And we see here that there is a Black or African American classification. And so this individual who is teaching these Negroes to be American citizens is telling them specifically not to mark Black or anything that alludes to that brand when you're dealing in commerce. He is also telling these people, these so-called Negroes, right, that they're from North Africa. Right? So the Moorish Americans are told that they are from North Africa, the shores of Northwest Africa. Now, if we see the designation down at the bottom of white, and we have the designation highlighted, it says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. And so we see that there is a white designation for Africans, period. Of Africans of the North particular diaspora. Well, we know that the Moors and the Jews that were expelled from Spain were from Morocco. We know that, right? And then they were pushed back into the African continent on what? On the northwestern shores of where? Africa. So that's North Africa. And then from 1491 to about 16 something, there was a crusade, if you will, or an inquisition, if you will, that were taking these particular North Africans that were on the northwestern shores of Africa, who had just lost to a war and who had been enslaved, right, denationalized. These people are being brought over here to America on ships. And since their ancestors are white, and since no one can change the descent nature of a man, of a human being, then their classification must still remain white. And so it appears that this black African American designation is utilized to take away that which is inheritable and descendable to a particular group, of North Africans, particularly the darker skinned ones. This sounds very reminiscent of what we were taught in Black history about some Africans being brought over here as slaves. It would suffice to say that these were Moors that were brought over here. These were Moroccan Moors who were expelled from Al-Andalus, from what is now Portugal and Spain. It seems like these Moors and these Jews and these Gnostic Christians, these Helionostic Christians, it sounds like these were the ones that were brought over here. And now they're running around here talking about they're black. Talking about they're black, right? So let's see what else that there is to say about these North Africans, supposed Negroes. Here we go. So here's a reading. It says, Ameshim, the land of our fathers, the land where the gods loved to dwell, the birthplace of the ancient Egypt land, where civilization first saw the light of day. Now, since man has left his first religion, he has been suffering from a complex disease which in some ways takes hold of his passions and desires. The misdirection of his brain causes him to become a living monster. He is a slave to his lower self. No scientists nor doctors have been able to find anything to effect a cure until the coming of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who comes from the East bringing the light of new day. The Moorish divine movement built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the salvation for the nation. Right? It says, in the deliberation of nations, no consideration is given. Consideration in law, that's love. So there's no love given to a people who are not of a nation. In 1774, the Europeans of this country took the birthrights away from a people whom they forced under bondage. They were not slaves. They were bound free men. The subsequent generation who followed them in this bondage were slaves because their minds had been subjugated to a European psychology. They were branded with the name Negro and were separated from the illustrious history of their forefathers, who were the founders of the first civilization. Is that right? Is that right? What else have we got to say about these so-called Negroes who were as a matter of fact, yeah, let me show y'all some. And this will take effect particularly for those who watch with the cure. So look at this here. It says Dr. Abdul Hamid Suleiman, a native of Arabia, said to have been the high priest at Mecca for several years, has inaugurated a movement for spreading Mohammedanism among the Negroes of the United States. Muslim groups have been started, one of them at Newark, where a temple has been established. That's the old Canaanite temple. The Mohammedans of New York hope to construct a mosque there. Here, it says Dr. Suleiman, who lives at, I can't see what that is. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Who lives at West 130th Street, says he is bringing into closer religious harmony the Negro, the Turkish, and the Syrian Muslims. The Negro. Okay? So now Noble Drew Ali told us what? That we're not Negroes. Right? Let's take a look at this word Mohammedanism. I think that there should be some more that can appreciate this. So we also learn that the brand of Islamia or Islamism that the Moorish Americans have for themselves Americanized is also called Mohammedanism. Where do we get that from? Well, let's take a little quick read here. This is also from the Moorish Guide newspaper. This article is titled Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America. Okay? So before I read it, for all of you who are on the feed, right, I'm going to show you the individual whose work I'm reading. Okay? This is the individual that came to teach the this man. This is the man whose information I've been reading. Just so that you know. Okay? So now I'm going to read this. One moment. Come in, babe. Come in. Were you coming in? Huh, babe?
We're out of water.
There's some in there. If you desire some, there's some in there. Islam. All right. It says, in connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I deem it proper to submit to you a brief statement of our organization, covering its inception, rise and progress, and of the Mohammedan religion, which I hope will be satisfactory to you and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your relations with mankind in general. I further most anxiously hope that this brief statement will help you to more clearly see the duty and wisdom of at all times upholding those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization which are desired for our civilization of our posterity, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. We organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925, and were legally incorporated as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925, and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29, 1926. The name Moorish Temple of Science changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of the State of Illinois. The object of our organization is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teaching those things necessary to make our members better citizens. A national organization with a Rotarian complexion as it relates to branch temples became obvious with the increasing number of inquiries from men and women in different sections of the country concerning the purpose of the organization. There are branch temples in 15 different states at this time. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Illinois. So let me just stop real quick and show y'all. Show y'all. Thanks for being patient. So this is what he filed. Okay? This is what he's talking about. So let me go back over that part. We organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29, 1926. The name, the Moorish Temple, the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29, 1926. The name, the Moorish Temple of Science, changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of the State of Illinois. If y'all wouldn't mind, would y'all please tap the screen just a few times, right, so that we can keep this going. If y'all wouldn't mind, would y'all please tap the screen just a few times, right, so that we can keep this going. Appreciate you all. All right. The name, a few times, right, so that we can keep this going. Appreciate you all. All right. The name, did I just read that? The name Moorish Temple of Science changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1929, May 1928. All right. The name, did I just read that? The name Moorish Temple of Science changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1929, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of the State of Illinois. Oh, okay, I read all of that. Oh, okay, yes, my apologies. Here we go. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office. Has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Illinois. So now, if you look at this paper up here, if you look over to the left-hand side if you look at this paper up here, if you look over to the left-hand side at the top, you'll see under the word Illinois the word Cook. It's telling you what the county was in, right? So we know that this is the information that he's speaking of. Okay? It says, inspired by the lofty teaching of the Quran, we have it as the revealed word of God Allah. We shall foster the principles of its teachings among our members. This is our religious privilege as American citizens under the laws of one of the greatest documents of all time, the American Constitution. The Mohammedan religion is the least appreciated in the American Constitution. The Mohammedan religion is the least appreciated and probably the most misunderstood of the world's great religions. This is especially true in our Western world. Try to understand what Mohammedanism stands for and some of the things it has contributed to the world. So we now here find out for the Moorish Americans, just to let you all know, Islamism and Mohammedanism is one and the same. The greeting is not Islamism. The greeting is Islam. All right. All right. It says, Muhammad was the founder of the Mohammedan religion. It originated 13 centuries ago on the Arabian Peninsula, where the streams of commerce and culture met and mingled in the Middle Ages, where the markets of commerce and culture met and mingled in the Middle Ages, where the markets of exchange were stationed for treasures of India and the products of the Mediterranean coasts. There, this religion, mind you, religion is the economy of man. This religion was established in the unprecedented short period of 20 years. And unlike many other religions, without the aid of any royal patronage and support. Buddhism had its Ashoka, Judaism its Joshua, Christianity its Constantine. But Mohammedanism had no person of royal rank and power to assist in its establishment and spread. Today, this religion is acknowledged by nearly 250 million souls and extends over an area equal to 1/3 of the globe. From Arabia, it spread eastward over Persia, Turkestan, Afghanistan, westward across Syria, Asia Minor, Turkey, and southward to Africa, covering more than half of that continent, North Africa. It found its way to India and beyond to the islands of Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. All right? It says, to the early representatives of this faith, the world's debt is incalculably great. For it was they who transmitted the treasures of Greek literature from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance. It was they who originated that graceful form of which the Taj Mahal and Alhambra are the most famous examples. It was they who contributed to the sciences of algebra and chemistry, astronomy, and medicine. It is they who dotted the Saracen Empire with universities and who built at Baghdad and Cairo the most renowned universities of the world. During those centuries of ecclesiastical despotism, the paper that we're looking at right here on the screen is the ecclesiastical authority that is being expressed. Right? Okay. So it's saying during those centuries of ecclesiastical despotism, when the Roman Christian Church suppressed all intellectual activities except those that were theological, causing the talent that reproduces to supplant the genius that creates, Muhammadans did all in their power to encourage and stimulate research in every branch of human inquiry. Every branch of human inquiry is economics, social, moral, political, everything wrapped up. Okay. So it says the Moors or Mohammedans, so the Moors or Mohammedans, added to the beauty and grandeur of Spain. For centuries, art, science, literature, and chivalry flourished among them, while the rest of Europe was still sunk in the gloom of the Dark Ages. The Moors were the most ingenious and industrious of the subjects of Spain, because it was Al-Andalus, and when it fell, the Moriscos were still doing their thing. It says their expulsion from Spain in 1610, was one of the chief causes of decadence of that country, for both agriculture and industry fell into decay after their departure. Listen, Mohammedanism makes no distinction between high and low, rich and poor. It is like the sky. It has room for all. The Quran should be of interest to all readers. It is the Bible of the Mohammedans, ruling over the customs and actions of over 200 millions of people. It is a work of importance whether considered from a religious, philosophical, or literary viewpoint. In the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there has ever been some kind of opposition. And strange as it may seem, such opposition has come from sources where there were no ideas or the lack of courage to force attention to ideas. Whether in church, state, or the social community, any attempt to do anything out of the usual way seldom fails to receive criticism. Not because the course cannot be pursued legally or that it is unreasonable, but because it has been considered in terms as new. The Moorish Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion. And who he's specifically speaking about, these Christian ministers, are the Masons and the Shriners. This is who he's referring to during this time. It says they have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms as something new. Whatever the reasons may be for their opposition, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. Without religious freedom, no search for truth would be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked, and we would no longer march forward toward the nobler life which the future holds for the races of men. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men for their religious beliefs. And if there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition. Possibly, love and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in this regard and prove that in mankind, tolerance is better than unwarranted opposition. In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. So now, let's pull that up. Economic security, right? So now, let's pull that up. Economic security, right? All right. You know what? That's a sucky picture. But we'll make do, right? The Moorish Americans Economic Security Manual. All right. So, we're going to speak about, in connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. Where are we at? Okay. The preaching of economic security. Yep. See, that's why I desired to hold on. That's why I desired to put that specific one up. Wait a minute. You thought I was finished? We're going to put that up there. All right. Yeah, and that's actually the better picture that I desired anyway. All right. So, it says here, where are we at here? The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. All right, as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power. Better positions for our men. See how they didn't put that part up there? I see that. I noticed that. Whoever put that up did put the rest of this, but we're going to reveal the rest of this. It says better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes will follow our economic security. Then that is crazy how they, all right. It says we shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar nation cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain to a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. So mind you, I just would like to make notes that this picture, the green picture, you may or may you'll see it floating throughout the internet. And so it's not something that I created, right? But I would like to point out, particularly those studious Moors who are realizing that there's a lot of issues within the movement, right? You will see that I just read that same message. And you also would notice that let me read to you what was not said. Right? Let me read. It said, this is what was left out. Better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger income will follow our economic security. So mind you, whoever put that up there like that, Did not put that part in there. That's a misrepresentation. Anywho, continuing. Our men, women, and children should be taught to believe in the capacity of our group to succeed in business, in spite of the trials and failures of some of them. Trials and failures in business are by no means confined to any particular group of people. Some business ventures of all people fail. We have many men and women among our people who are qualified, both by training and experience, who are shining lights in the business world of all the people. It is a sad weakness in us as a people that we have withheld the very encouragement, support, and patronage that would have made some of our worthy business ventures a grand success. And worst of all, have joined in the condemnations of them when they failed. Except in cases of actual dishonesty, discourtesy, lack of service, and unreliability, our business enterprises in every field of endeavor should have lulled of confidence, cooperation, and patronage whenever and wherever they can be given. It says, read carefully the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It contains our hopes, aims, rules, and articles of religion. Every member should have a copy. Okay? In conclusion, I urge you to remember there is work enough for all to do in what? In helping to build a better world. The problems of life are largely social and economic. In a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow men in general, and especially with those with whom you deal. Let me read that again. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow men in general, and especially those with whom you deal. That is integrity. Okay? This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. That is called consideration in law. It says, look for the best in others and give them the best that is in you. Have a deeper appreciation for womanhood. Brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased to dare and do wondrous things. Adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. I shall continue to labor, that's your liberty and economy, day and night, both in public and private, for your good, thereby contributing to the welfare of our country and its people as a whole. Noble Drew Ali. So this is what the morals are supposed to be about. This is what the movement is supposed to be about. Reclaiming our estates, cleaning up our good names, and doing good business with the rest of humanity. We're definitely not supposed to be out here ragging on other people and talk about we Indians and stuff. You know? Hey, you know what? Let me see if I can pull. Let me see. I might be able to pull a particular thing up. I'm trying to think. All right. I don't know. I may or may not have it, but I'm going to show you all something. No, I may or may not have it, but I'm going to show you all something. I'll show you all this. So what we're looking at here, right? We were reading from the Moorish Americans Economic Security Manual. Drew Ali was telling the people in his message, his historical message to America about his organization. All right? And so I just wish to take us back. It says, let me see if we can find the date on here first. Let me see if I can find the date on here. I don't see it on there. I don't see the date. But you see, it says Moorish Temple of Science, right? In the middle. It says the object for which is formed, that's above it, to uplift fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make men and women become better citizens, right? And so the civic nature of his religious organization never changed, right? But let me read this part. It says, we organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29th, 1926. So that's this document here. This is the document that the Nation of Islam used when they went against the Prophet and established their own organization. But again, that's for another time. All right. So we have the civic organization, right? And then what does Noble Drew Ali say? He says that the name Moorish Temple of Science changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America in accordance with the legal requirements, right? So he changed the name, but not the purpose. You know, there was another brother on here, one of those radical agitating Moors, speaking about you're one of those civic Moors, just hooplying, as if, because Noble Drew Ali changed the appearance of the of the organization, that he somehow changed its foundation. And he never changed the foundation. The foundation of this movement is a national. It's a religious and civic. It's a nationally civic movement. It's a civic movement. It is economic reform. Right? So now that's the Moorish Temple of Science. Islam Swathi Communique. Just got peaceful greetings, love. Peaceful greetings. So now you see that we have, we on a roll here now. You know what I mean? And so now I'm going to put this up on the screen. And I'm actually going to read that from out of here. This is the redemption process. This is the redemption program. This is the redemption program for those who are Moorish American, and it's a universal thing. And so it applies to all human beings. What was I going to read? Okay. That one right there. Right. Let me see. Moorish Science Temple of America. Shooby-dooby. Do-do-do. One thing I've noticed in this movement is that these things are not taught openly. And that's very, very harmful that the people don't know what they're really supposed to be getting into, and then that leads them to be out here in the world, just doing anything. To be honest with you, that's what they're doing. They're trying though. All right, so we're going to read this right here. That's up there on the paper, on the screen. It says the Moorish The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, in time, legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress, to aid in the improvement of health, and to encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. He says that a lot, I see. He said it is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. We, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. We believe in the principles of its teachings insofar as they can be adopted to American life. We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. All right, there we go. There, now I'll continue. It says, we are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land. We welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you hear a Moorish American saying anything outside of that or contrary to that, I assure you, they have not met this man in his literature, and they do not know who they follow, and they follow after others. So Moorish Americans are supposed to be competing economically with every other nation in as far as producing and contributing to the benefit of humanity. Moors are not supposed to be out here trying to dog each other or dog anybody. Moors are not supposed to be out here warring against the government or saying that they're not a part of the government. A lot of these Moors, they just don't know. I assure you they don't know. And it's very sad. But, see if I could turn this back around one more again. There we go. Flip cam. Yeah, I'm back on. All right. So the Moorish Americans are supposed to lift themselves up by their bootstraps. Stop identifying as a Negro in commerce. Get back to identifying as a white North African. And we're supposed to be out here getting in this business and just like the Chinese have Chinatown, we would have Moorish Town. Or just like the Italians might have a pizzeria or something. The Moors have, our own counterparts. We're supposed to be out here conducting business. We ain't supposed to be over here telling people who they are and who they ain't. Barely know who you are. It's crazy to me. There's a lot of yeah. So again, this is really for those who don't really know what it is about Moorish Americans, right? And who want to know, who desire to know what the Moors real position is on being Negro, right? What was it that just came to my mind that man. Let me see. That's a good one too. There's just so much to be read, yo. Yeah, there's just so much. All right, you know what? Yeah. So we know about the Emergency Banking Act, some of us, correct? So Prophet Noble Drew Ali prophesied and put together an applicable program for his people in order to be able to thrive when the economic currency was exchanged from gold and silver to debits and credits, right, to the greenbacks, very reminiscent of the Wizard of Oz, right? But I would like to speak to those individuals who are unsure about utilizing the birth certificate as a security instrument and, these natures, I would like to show to the people that Noble Drew Ali was letting us know how to use these things, understanding how to the people that Noble Drew Ali was letting us know how to use these things, understanding how these things apply. So, but you have to hear it. You have to have the business mind in order to hear it in the language. But I'm going to read it to you nonetheless. It says, think this over, you Moors. All sheikhs, grand sheikhs, these are all trustees. Okay, these are all vestrymen. Must prepare for the Prophet before he comes to visit them. Must see to it that all is clean and in perfection. Where are we at? As far as comfort as possible. Otherwise, don't arrange to have the Prophet in your presence. All members should pay from 25 cents to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund. This fund will increase so that it will soon amount to the grand sum of $1,000. That is, if you are loyal Moors. The emergency fund goes into the bank. The treasurer will tend to the responsibility of seeing that the money is in the bank. Yes, and under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America Finance. He says, when needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. Now, This was given to the people no later than 1929. And we know that the Emergency Banking Act happened in 1933. And so we can deduce from this information that Drew Ali was aware of this new currency change, this reset, right? And he prepared the Muslims. He prepared the Moors. All right. I'm not going to read all of this. Yes, I am. No head of any temple is to borrow from any member more than $5 to $10, unless by notification of the prophet, the necessity for the loan. When any said temple desires to purchase property, they must first notify the grand body or the prophet, and it must be purchased under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. Listen to this. An individual name should never be applied. An individual name should never be applied. You should be corporation. All right, where we at? Okay, it says, I, Noble Drew Ali, am responsible for all finance. So therefore, let I, the prophet, know what is on me. If you understand banking, accounting, and business jargon, verbiage, you'll recognize what he's talking about when he says, so let me know what is on me. He's the creditor. He's the secured party. He's the creditor. And he's showing us how to be secured parties and creditors. Okay. Some of you have slipped and slipped drastically. So you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Everything, every business transaction or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted. Oh, didn't I just read that? Okay. Must be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. We Moors must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. If you have no finance behind you, you're not moving. The emergency fund is issued by no book, but by an emergency card punched according to the contribution, then marked on book, and that is the law, and the law must live. The government is behind me, and I must get behind you, for I must uphold and enforce the law. My mission is to save you Moors. The heads of all temples, grand sheikhs and grand sheikha, must conform to the divine principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They must live the life among the members and be loved even as the prophet is loved. They must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. Let me read that again for you hateful Moors out there who keep trying to imply that if you're from a paler skin, that you cannot be a part of Islam. Y'all brothers' rhetoric is crazy. That's crazy work. He says, they must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. That means that there are other nations and nationalities in the temple. That's what's being said. Everybody, the Moorish Science Temple of America is open for everybody. And since it's not open for everybody, that's why a new era is here, and we're open for everybody. This is the continuation. This is the resurrection. Let it be he or she that is head of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that if there should come any grievance that cannot be settled by the head, notify the prophet at once. No member is to attempt a depth chamber that has not lived a moral and clean life and has not paid his or her dues or assessments, providing that he or she is working or able, cannot consider himself more. But the traitors must be excluded from the books after having trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent into the grand body. And all members that are able to subscribe towards the uplifting fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Right? And those that are able and fail to act are not Moors, but traitors to their cause and trust and their nation. So they are traitors to their cause, they are traitors to their trust, and they are traitors to their national estates, and are not allowed to share all the Moorish honors. And the penalty is, it is embezzlement of the faith of our creed. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. So we got a lot of embezzlers and traitors in the movement. That's what we have, you know. I want to draw out these more popular quotes amongst myself. He said that the last people that will come into this movement will be those Asiatic or Negro pastors, ministers, and Masons. He says the last to come to this will be those Masons. Any Moorish American out here, not understanding that we have Moorish science, and that is the actual science that was codified and is known as Freemasonry. If this Moorish American does not understand that we have our own national order, and they go and they chase after the ideas of other men, they're out of order. I'm not a Freemason. I'm not a Freemason in the sense that you see it as the organization. I understand that the word Freemason, in an Egyptian dialect, it treats of children of the sun. And so in that instance, I understand the word Freemason. But Freemasonry, as it is applied particularly here in the West, I'm not a part of that. I don't subscribe to that. I'm not a master mason. I'm a mastermind. I'm not a master mason. I'm a Muslim. Muslim means mastered mind, perfected man. So, all right. Black history. Black history. Would anyone like to come up? Anyone got any questions? Let me scroll here. I appreciate the love that's been given. Please tap the screen. Show me some love, people. All right. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get this information the way that I'm giving it to you from anybody else that I've seen at this time. Freemasonry comes from the Moors, especially Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta. You sound like Taj Tariq Bey. I'm not saying that you're wrong. But what I'm saying is we didn't call it that to the extent so Noble Drew Ali gave us our own pure and clean national order with all of its vestrymen, with all of its officers, right? With all of its description, its usages. We're not Masons. We're not Freemasons. Drew Ali specifically let the Moors know, don't fuck with the Masons. He told them to build their temples and hold their meetings like the Masons. Why? Because the life is universal. And so when we're able to uh, uh, what's the word here? Observe how they hold their order, that we can understand how we're to hold our order. But we do not call ourselves master masons. We call ourselves masterminds. You know, we don't call ourselves most worshipful masters. You know, we have profit for that. You know, we don't have past masters. We have emeritus. You know, we don't have Tylers. You know, we have whatever the first level, first step is belief. But whatever the lowest office outside of being a member, but actually being an official, whatever the lowest official in the organization equates to Tyler, you know, and then a sheikh, right, who has gone through who is going to the adept chamber, right. This is so the Tyler, or the initiate, the apprentice, right. This is the Moorish child, right. This is the child who is coming into themselves. And then you have the fellow of the craft, the craftsman. These are the sheiks, the governors, the muftis, things of that nature. And then you have fruition, which is the mastermind, or you have the master mason, right? And these are your grand sheiks, your grand governors, your supreme grand advisors, things of that nature. It's the same order. We just have our own words. We have our own titles, our own offices. So as not to mix the doctrine, because Freemasons, particularly these Shriners, right? These Shriners, they deal with Islam, and then they reject Islam. The Moors taught come on, you know, I'm gonna keep it a beam with you, right? It's for everybody. If you refer to Europeans as Albions, I'm gonna cut you off. Because that's derogatory. That's in a derogatory light. That's that Taj Tariq shit. That's that CMB shit. That's that disunity. That's not from Noble Drew Ali. I'm not gonna call anybody an Albion or troglodyte or none of that. We don't do that on this. This is pure and clean over here, family. So again, if you present yourself calling people Albions, or if I identify you as a nation divider, I will block you from this, bro. Be very mindful, man. On the first step, you're taught to be very cautious, man. Mind your words, brother. We're for peace, not destruction. We don't do that here. We don't play them games over here, man. We don't do that. We're here for everybody. These Moors right here, we're here for everybody. If you've ever read, you probably have never read this. But if you were to have read this, you would see where the Moors of Noble Drew Ali, you know, where we stand. You know, and we don't do that Albion stuff. We don't talk about people like that. We don't do that. You know, we treat others as we wish to be treated. You know, we honor man. Right? We deal with the golden rule here. We don't play that shit right there, bro. Not at all. What's your father's nationality? Moorish American. My father's nationality is Moorish American. What do you mean? How about I bring you up, family? Because I don't want to catch the lag, and I would like to, you know, actually speak to you, you know, about your questions. So let me see if I can pull you up here. Okay. I think this is how you do it. Oh man, I can't find you. Well, if you desire to come up, Dobie Slick, I'm trying to figure out how to bring you up here. Is that it right there? Yes, I think that's it. All right. Please accept the invite, and then I have no problem with speaking to you about that. As a matter of fact, while we're on the live, I believe I could pull that up And I can show you what my father looks like and my mother. I believe I might still have that. I might not have that picture. Which is, again, it's nothing. I can get it just now while I'm on the feed. I might not have that on here. Might have already erased that. It looks like I may have erased that. Oh, nope. Boom. Here, let me turn this camera so that you can see, brother. I'll show you. Drop that down. And is this it? Yeah, flip camera. All right. So there you go. So now if you wish, that's my mother and my father. Right? For you to see. In case that implication was negative. But even if it wasn't. My mother and my father. Now, whether they know they're Moorish American or not, that's a completely different topic. But no one's natural descent can be changed by any other man. And so my father is what his ancestors always were, even if he forgot. Would anybody like to come on, come talk with me, come chop it up with the brother? Any questions about anything Moorish, about what's supposed to be going on? I'll give you the answer according to Noble Drew Ali and the ancients, not just Noble Drew Ali. This is a universal philosophy. I can show it to you from Jesus, Buddha. I can show it to you from Krishna, wherever it may be. Nobody wishes to come up. That's cool. Show me some love, though. I'm gonna pull this down. Hopefully that brother got to see what it is that he needed to see. People think that my life. Let me explain this picture. So here we have all of the seeds of Hagar. You remember Hagar? That's the first childbearing wife of Abraham. Abraham's children went into what we call Eurasia, the Middle East. Right? Now the Hagarians or the Ishmaelites were in Arabia and Egypt. See, Hagar was from Egypt. Hagar was an Egyptian national. And so her seeds are Egyptian. And so we have in the front, we have Abdulaziz, Sultan Abdulaziz from Saudi Arabia, right? To the right of him, I can't remember that brother's name. He's an Israeli, but he's the one who, speaking about the Ashkenazi Jews, let it be known that when the particular Jews left Israel, left their land, they were dark skinned, and when they came back, they were pale. Then he was the one letting people know that he's aware of the pale skin, the Roman, the Jesuit order. Okay, and to the far right of him, we have Abdul Hamid Suleiman, also an Arab. Okay, and then all the way to the left, we have Dus Muhammad Ali, who is also a Sudanese Egyptian Arab. Then we have Drew Ali. Drew Ali is of the Moroccan Moorish persuasion. You have myself, who's also Moorish American. Now, all of those individuals around Abdul Aziz, these are his companions, and you see that they are wearing fezzes. I didn't copy paste that on there. You know, they're wearing fezzes. This is to show that. Look at the skin color. Look at the skin tone. All of these people are Moors. Excuse me. All of these people are, yeah, absolutely, Moorish American. Or not Moorish American, pardon me. They're Muslim and they're Moorish. They're Moorish, they're Turkish, they're Syrian, they're Arab. You know, all of these Islamic nations as one nation. Okay? That's a whole family right here. Irregardless of what we look like, everybody here is a part of the Muslim Ummah or the community. What we look like, everybody here is a part of the Muslim Ummah or the community. Did you say Noble is Moroccan? I agree. That is why. Then why the hell do you say Moorish American? That is okay. Sultan Al Kabir. We say Moorish because Moorish is a compound Hebraic word, so it's Hebrew. It's Aramaic for real, but it's Hebrew. And Moor means love, thought, or made in love, and Ish is the word for man. And so Moorish is a Muslim. It's perfected man. That's why we say Moorish American. You know. I hope that answers your question. But that's exactly why we say Moorish. I've heard people say, "Oh, well, the ish means this, that, and the third," and so they're only using a particular ideology. Drew Ali called us Moorish Americans because that term in our ancestral culture, in our ancestral Semitic languages, literally means a divine love thought manifest. Mor and Ish. Also Marish, M-A-U, Ma, and then Rish, being the seven. Again, this is an Egyptian dialect. Ma being the cat, and then Rish. And so again, we're just getting this divine, this concept of divinity. You know, Moorish is like saying Emmanuel. Then say descendants of Morocco. I will say what I please to say, brother. I'm going to say what my prophet said, bro. Drew Ali called us Moorish Americans. So I'm going to stick to that. You dig? And you can say descendants of Moroccans born in America. And I can say Moorish Americans, which also means descendants of Moroccans born in America, bro. All right. All right. If you wish to teach, go to your own feet. Please do not come here trying to give directives to myself about what I should and shouldn't do. Especially with you running around with the title of Sultan about what I should and shouldn't do. Especially with you running around with the title of Sultan. You have your own business, Sultan. I'm not a subject to you, beloved. I am your brother. I am your servant to humanity. I ain't your slave, though. Would anybody like to come up? No? All right. Well, I appreciate you all, right, for stopping by. I'm going to place this on the YouTube channel for whomsoever to catch. It's in link in bio, right? Please check out the links. The website is also in the bio. You know, see what I have for you. See what these brothers have brought to you, right? I'm bringing it to you because no one else has been bringing it to you. You know, for whatever reason, no one has done the digging and shoveled out the discord. No one has done the digging and shoveled out the discord. The truth. I can't even see that. With this man here. Okay? Appreciate you all. Last time I'm off, I see there's only 2 individuals on. If anybody desired to come up, come on up. You're more than welcome. I'll invite you. If you don't wish to come up, just ignore the invite and I'll drop off. It's no problemo. All right. But if you do wish to come on up, okay. I just wanted to show you all you. This is you. This is what we call Allah. Right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. That's Allah. That's the Taurus field. This is you looking at your most highest self. This is God. Do you see God? Do you see the Roy G. Biv? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Do you see the 7? I see the 7. That is you. That is what's in your heart. That is what the universe is made of. And this is what I'm trying to bring you to. This is the divine truth, people. That each and every one of us is exactly what it is that we're looking at. And that light in the middle, that's supposed to be reflective of your heart. That's where the divine dwells. That's where the spirit rises. You see the fire coming down and